checked to make sure her bike was parked safely against the wall. But I saw the ad in the newsagents, and seeing as I only live around the corner, I thought I'd just come straight up. Strike while the iron's hot, you know. That's my motto. If it's inconvenient, I can always come back later. No, not at all, please. Come in, the woman said eagerly. I was just about to make a cup of tea before I feed the baby. Would you like one? I'd murder one. I'm Carrie, by the way. Carrie Armstrong. She held out a hand that Babs shook firmly. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Armstrong. I'm Annie Buckley, but I've been called Babs for so long now it's all I answer to. Babs followed Carrie across the hall and into the cosy kitchen, where a small girl sat at the scrubbed pine table, wielding a crayon across a brightly coloured page, her tongue poking out the side of her mouth in concentration. Looking up, she fixed Babs with big, solemn brown eyes, smiled shyly, and went back to her drawing. "Well, who we here?" said Babs, sitting down at the table opposite her. "This is Hope," said Carrie, smiling over at her little girl as she turned on the kettle and reached into the overhead cupboard for 2 cups. "She's our eldest. Say hello to Mrs. Buckley, Hope." "Hello." "And an artist too, so I see." Babs peered over at the drawing, making noises of appreciation. "What a lovely picture. What is it? I'm not very good without my glasses." "It's a car. My daddy's getting a new car today, so I drew a picture for him when he gets home." "Well, isn't that a lovely thing to do? And how old are you, Hope?" "I'm going to be 7 next week." She looked up at Babs with a serious expression. "How old are you?" Babs grinned. "Oh, I'm very old indeed." The crayon paused in mid-air as Hope studied her. "Hope!" Carrie protested, laughing. "I'm sorry," she said to Babs. "Hope, you mustn't ask grown-up people how old they are. It's not polite." "Why not?" Hope asked curiously. "Why not, indeed?" said Babs, chuckling. "I'm 52, love, and I don't mind telling you or anybody. Age is only a number, you know." Hope continued her study of Babs, her head tilting to one side as she regarded her from across the table. "You have funny hair." Babs snorted with laughter as Carrie, looking alarmed, placed 2 cups of tea and a plate of biscuits on the table. "That's enough, Hope." "Funny is the right word for it, young lady. It has a sense of humour all its own, my hair." Babs ran a hand through the wiry shock of grey hair that stood up relentlessly. It had once been a fiery red, and then, overnight almost, decided to turn grey. Not that Babs had minded. She'd never bothered much with looks or worrying over her hair, and Larry, her late husband, had always said he loved her just the way she was. "I gave up fighting it years ago. Come along, darling, into the playroom. Mummy wants to talk to Mrs. Buckley." "Babs," interjected Babs. To Babs, "Take your drawing into the playroom like a good girl, and I'll come and see it in a few minutes." "Okay, nearly finished anyway." "Good girl," said Carrie, as Hope gathered her crayons and paper and slipped off the chair, walking quietly from the kitchen through a glass door that led to another room where a big television had pride of place and a lot of toys was scattered. "We built the playroom on last year," explained Carrie. "It's been a lifesaver." "Now," said Babs, "let's get down to business. I've worked as a cook and a housekeeper all my life, and I'm good at it, if I say so myself. The references say the rest, and I have them with me." She pushed a collection of papers across to Carrie. "My last position was in an embassy, but that was 10 years ago. I have my own family, all grown up now, of course, and on their way, but I wanted to be at home for them when school got tough, and they were doing the exams and so on, so I gave up working. Of course, Larry was out working then too, my husband, one of the head gardeners he was, up in the Botanic Gardens. He died just over a year ago, and—" "Oh, I'm so sorry," Carrie interjected awkwardly, her eyes full of sympathy. "Thank you, love, it was sad. He was young."